Good morning, Fractal Effects team. Since we're still in the middle of the morning session, please make sure you read the disclosure on our website, fractaleffects.com. It's in the footer of the website. If you're following along with us today, make sure you do in a demo account, as this is for educational purposes only. We are not financial advisors, and this is not financial advice. So we're just looking at U.S. oil today, obviously because of PPI news. We have a downside expansion model. We have a mixed model sell. We're looking for a short here. Since we're only 6 minutes away from spotlight formation, we're just going to wait for that confirmation. Either way, I'd like to see potential entry right around here because we've manipulated to the upside. We're using Brent crude oil as our diverging pair. It wicked the manipulation range, but it did not break it, which lets me know that this is the weaker pair, just wants to push down. So this is the first presented fair value gap after our manipulation move. Now we're stuck at the DSD high. We're stuck inside the blue zone. There's our opening NYC gap. It's turned inverse. But I need a foothold. There's no foothold right now. It has not tapped a 5M fair value gap. I'm hoping it uses the DSD high here to push back up, tap into our area, and then push down. We're also at 61% here as well of the bigger range fib. Brent crude has just tapped this 4-hour fair value gap. So we're stuck between two 4-hour fair value gaps. It's going long off of this one, short off of this one. Just gotta remain patient, but yeah, this is where I would like to see it tap into, either before confirmation or after confirmation. But if it just starts to drop away from here, nothing we can do about it. There's no foothold. Three minutes for range formation. Back at that 4-hour fair value gap. So with the US oil, there was no 4-hour fair value gap here in this area. We're sitting inside of a bigger daily fair value gap, which is what we rejected off of. Now it's filling in this big wick. I'd like to see it bounce off the 50% here, consequence encroachment of this wick, and at least come back up and tap it. Otherwise, as mentioned before, if it just keeps pushing, there's nothing we can do about it. Then it's just using the inverse, the opening inverse here. But we got to stick to our rules. 2 minutes away from range formation. Brent crude right at that 4-hour fair value gap. It's closer to taking out this liquidity. It is the weaker pair, so it should take this weaker, excuse me, should take this liquidity first. We're also sitting inside the NWOG. Where's the NWOG here? So our range is formed. A lot of areas it could go short from now. Could go short off the DSD, NYC fair value gap, blue zone. So this has actually become a highly algorithmic area now. Just got to proceed with caution. It could wick as high as up here. And then on the lower time frame, we want to see a 1M fair value gap created. Remember, hit a fair value gap, create a fair value gap. I'd actually like to see this completely fill in, which lets me know it wants to go up higher. About 3 minutes left in this candle. If it leaves this fair value gap, then we're going to drop down to a 1M and see if we get the setup here. That's actually what I wanted to see. So now it's closed that off. Let's see if this becomes an immediate rebalancing candle, which will push us up. This is why you don't get FOMO. People who just saw this dropping, they wanted to jump. There are people that jumped in right here. This is the better foothold, especially now that it now that it just filled in this fair value gap. This is the only 5M fair value gap left on either pair. About 51 seconds left. Right at the 20 EMA. Now, since we are right at the DSD high, We did violate it, but now it's using it. It could use it as an inverse. Here's the blue zone. But this is still the optimal area. It would have actually been nice to get a bearish confirmation. That would have just added more confluence to this and then this retracement, but we'll see. It might actually not get past the DSD high here, so we just got to proceed with caution, especially on a day like today. Yesterday was absolute nonsense. All of our rules actually saved us from taking any trades yesterday. Yesterday literally consolidated back and forth. Bigger whips, of course, but it was more or less just seek and destroy. It was just taking out liquidity back and forth. Let's see if we can get past this DSD high and just tap right into this fair value gap. Got to proceed with caution. I've seen it turn around right at the DSD. Anytime you have a violated DSD, remember that stands for the daily standard deviation. So we're actually above oil's daily standard deviation, meaning this is usually as high as it wants to go. So it could either use the inverse of this to push up, or we could just get stopped right here and push down. Now remember the next iteration, I manually painted this one on right here, but the next iteration of our indicator will have all the DSDs. We're just back testing to make sure they're all accurate. This is a very complicated equation. Very complicated. Actually took our programmers months to actually figure this one out. That's what when I say that this indicator is a real-time indicator, not a time lagging indicator. You know, you have to believe us. You gotta, when you see all these ranges right here, this manipulation range that's painted out in real time to let you know where this market, regardless of what chart you're watching, indice, forex, commodities, whatever, it literally tells you in real time where the market will manipulate. We sat down with a chaotician, somebody who studies chaos theory. We ran our algorithm and all of our back-tested data through his math, and that's where this came from. Still pushing up. Same thing with Brent crude. Still the only fair value gap left in the wake of that drop. So whatever decision is going to be made right here. This is where oil is going to decide if it's going up or down. Either it's going to punch through and give us a double break. That'll be going against all of our confluence, but it still could. Or it's going to hit this area, give us a 1M, and then a drop, and then a confirmation. This is considered an early retracement, so if we do get a confirmation, a bearish confirmation, it can move quick. It can move off of the next fair value gap that's presented. So we're now back at that NYC fair value gap. It's now become an inverse. Once you get used to this, I've said this before, it becomes like the matrix. You don't see all these boxes anymore. You just see a bias. You just see bearish or you see bullish. You see entry zones and you see confirmations. That's it. I don't see all these colors anymore. So here's our next 5M candle coming right into this range. This is what we wanted to see. Again, it could still drop from here. This is the DSD. We're in a blue zone. This red box right here, that's the first fair value gap presented after the 10 a.m. candle opened, the 4-hour candle. Number 10 is a very, very powerful directional indicator, the 10 a.m. candle. And then the one before it, 6. Make sure you watch all those videos in the Learning Hub. Make sure you understand the fractals, the higher time frame and how it works with the lower time frame. How a buy is only a buy until it's not. How a sell is only a sell until it's not, until it's hit that higher time frame PD array. Then things can reverse. Here it comes. Getting closer to our zone. Since Brent crude oil is the weaker one, I'd actually like to see it stay in the DSD while US crude on the left actually goes and taps that zone. It's going to drop down to the 1M just so we don't see a random 1M fair value gap created, because we are in the DSD, we are in the inverse of the NYC fair value gap, so it could technically turn around even before he gets up here. Ideally, what we'd like to see is consolidation on the 5M. On the 5M, if we start seeing that power of 3, consolidation, manipulation right into our zone, distribution to take out these lows. Brent crude, because it's weaker, having a hard time getting past the consequence encroachment of the DSD. And that's what I'd like to see. I'd like to see this thing jump up and tap it, and this stay here. Remember, when you're using a diverging pair, you want to start matching up zones. They're not going to be the same. Like the DSD on the left might be a blue zone on the right. A purple zone over here might actually be the NYC fair value gap over here. You're going to see they match up, but they're just going to be different. That's why you always got to keep your eye open to see which pair has already taken that higher time liquidity. If all of a sudden Brent crude, which it did, it tapped into this 4-hour fair value gap and it's rejecting from it, you got to proceed with caution, because this did tap this 4-hour fair value gap with the 10 a.m. candle, which can lead to a reversal, but it also tapped it first here with the 6 a.m. candle. I'll show you what that looks like really quick here on the 4-hour. So on the 4-hour, with Brent crude, it's a little different just because of the hours that it's open. But that's at the low. We're in the 4-hour. So technically this could push up from here, but then we also have a 4-hour, bigger 4-hour fair value gap above. That's why we want to proceed with caution. That's why we got to see all those points of confluence met. So there's a 1M fair value gap created there. I'm going to mark this out. It's rather being created, 39 seconds left. So we did leave this 1M fair value gap open. So we did the same here. There it is. Now let's see if it uses this to push down from. Or if it just violates it. Ideally, I'd like to see it push past this. This is still my favorite area. If we get above these highs, that's a violation of this fair value gap. I'd like to see this next candle start driving up. Use this as an inverse. I see it get up here. 22 seconds. That's the consolidation we were talking about. Still the DSD, NYC fair value gap. So it could technically still go short from here. Have to close under here, of course, to even abide by that rule. Obviously, we have to wait for a confirmation. Always be cognizant of that power of 3. When it starts consolidating, usually a consolidation just leads to a continuation, but here, as we were dropping, this immediate rebalancing candle is the only thing that I don't like. If it started consolidating here, then I'd be confident that it was going to push down, but now we got to proceed with caution. Like I said, I want to see that manipulation to the upside first. Usually you want to see at least 4 candles, 4 to 5 candles to make it a consolidation. What I'm talking about on the 5M. Now this would be beautiful if they just ran it up here and then dropped it. But even then, even if they run it up here, we still got to see the pattern, got to see the setup to go short. I never understood traders that literally just put a buy order or a sell order in a specific area. I would rather set an alert there, and then when it hits, come back and take a look. It's all about candle science. Each one of these candles is telling you something. What if it hit here and then just kept going? And if you just set a buy order or a sell order and you didn't even sit there and watch, like, oh, it actually didn't stop there, it kept going. And if you had been watching, you would have been able to see that that candle just flew through and nothing, no reversal happened. Each candle is telling you something. So if we get a candle close under this, we have the 238 here as well. I got to proceed with caution. So right now they're playing both sides. They're engineering new liquidity. There are people going long off of this. There are people trying to go short from the same closure here. We have the DSD low right under us, The market tapped it but didn't actually hit the consequence encroachment. So Brent crude sitting at that NDOG or NWOG, 4-hour fair value gap. So let's see what happens. I want to see if it drives down and gives us that bearish confirmation we've been waiting for. But again, the diverging pair sitting right at the analog in a 4-hour. So if you want to match up those pairs, we're sitting here. In order for it to take these lows, this would also have to take these lows and hit this DSD low. You want to line up reversal points for both pairs. They'll be different, but you want to at least line them up. This would be an area where US oil could reverse from. Keep in mind, Brent crude never actually took that manipulation. Right here, we never took that manipulation zone. We didn't actually break this, just tapped it. So this is the weaker pair. And we've already tapped this 4-hour fair value gap before with this wick. So this has already been hit. It would make sense for it to break through, but again, let's see. We're getting a lot of confirmations now, so market looks like it wants to push. Let's see if US oil gets affected here as well. So since we've already had this deep retracement, if we get a bearish signal, it'll use whatever the first fair value gap that it finds is, which is most likely up here. This is the only thing that's holding us up from this point now. NWOG and a 4-hour fair value gap. These are highly algorithmic zones that the market likes to, again, reject off of. So it could do one more whipsaw up. Wouldn't really call this a consolidation, by the way. Still having a tough time getting past the midpoint here. Let's take a look at US oil here on the 5M. Everything's still bearish. We're close to getting a bearish confirmation here. Let's see. This is the only kind of area that's throwing me off. I don't like to see price wedged between two higher time frame PD arrays, even if it is the diverging pair. Still having a tough time getting past that 4 hour. Both of these pairs. This is the weaker pair, and it is unable to take these lows still. So you got to proceed with caution. That's why you need that bearish confirmation. It's already doing another retracement back to this 5M fair value gap, but still no confirmation. But 23 minutes left in our stream. Today is PPI day, so we're proceeding with caution. We're not looking at the indices or any other US related pairs. On CPI, PPI, FOMC, non-farm payroll, stick to US oil. It will give you a good setup. So we're wicking off of this. Let's see if this is the driving force to push this down. 31 seconds left. Now, see, this is the only thing that's throwing me off is the fact that this is the weaker pair. We have not even taken these lows. It's stuck right at this 4 hour fair value gap, the NWOG. So that bearish confirmation is the only thing that's going to turn the tide here. For both of them, by the way. In order for this to get a bearish confirmation, it'd have to close over here. And you'd like to see the weaker pair confirm first. It's still stuck there. Finally getting that push. We've taken out these lows. All of a sudden US oil has become the weaker one because we have not taken out these lows yet. There you go. Finally took out those lows. But we're still in this wick. So we want to see a confirmation. Right into the DST low. So when it comes to the blue zone strategy, those are your two main areas that you want to look for as far as a TP, your DSD, and your other side of the manipulation range. Took out those lows here now. So technically it can hit this DSD and still shoot up. Confirmation, and then a push up. But we've already had an early retracement right into the EMAs. And this fair value gap's been tapped already. Let's see if this one stays open. But I don't like the fact that the DSD low is sitting right under us. So wicked these lows, and we're still inside that 4 hour. About 13 minutes left in our stream. Still no confirmation. Still being held up here. 10 minutes left. Fortunately, still no confirmation. And we haven't left any fair value gaps here, but we've already done that early retracement. So we match up those pairs. We have Brent crude oil sitting in a 4-hour fair value gap right at the edge of it. We've taken out the lows. And we have US oil. Have we taken those lows yet? No, we have not taken these lows yet. And we're sitting right at the DSD low. I can see it wicking down here, taking out these lows, and both of them pushing up from here. Like, you have to proceed with caution. That's why you have to wait for that confirmation this late in the game. But the early setup would have brought us from here, that entry that we were looking at, all the way down to hopefully the consequence encroachment of the DSD low, which also happens to be London's fair value gap. This is why we wait for confirmation. Almost 7 minutes left. Now we got a 5M bullish fair value gap forming here. No confirmation. Bouncing off of this 4-hour. Let me take a look at the 4-hour real quick. So right now, this was still the low, even though this candle actually wicked both sides. When's the next one forming here? Pretty much in 30 minutes. So if this one closes above, this one will most likely be a continuation candle right into the 4-hour. That's why these reversals can happen right there. You got to watch. You got to be careful. As soon as one pair has hit that higher time frame PD array, you could get a reversal on both. Look at this. This one didn't even sweep the low. It didn't hit any higher time frame PD array. It just swept out this. And now it looks like it's going back up. Now again, we still got 30 minutes left. This could just bounce off of here or even still here and push down. But all I'm saying is right away when you see that much resistance, you don't want to go through a high resistance liquidity run where there's so much resistance before you get to where you need to get to. And here, usually you want to set that low during the London session, and then you want New York to be a continuation or at least an expansion. So a lot of back and forth, 3 minutes left. Doesn't look like we're going to get that confirmation. But again, today was PPI. We expected this kind of price action back and forth regardless of what asset you were looking at. Our goal is to make sure you guys understand exactly how to maneuver these markets, but it's your choice when to maneuver them. As mentioned before, PPI, CPI, FOMC, non-farm payroll. Instead of looking for one of these entries on an offset pair or like an asset that doesn't get affected by that news, just take the day off. Or look for an entry on a higher time frame for stocks. Look for investment opportunities. Go check out the Market Watch. We put together an amazing package for you guys. You got to start utilizing it. But yeah, make sure you check us out on fractaleffects.com. And right now, the package that we put together, you get access to that 20 years of aggregate spotlight, where you have 20 years of back-tested data all put into graphs and charts for you. You get access to our indicator suite. These are two of the best indicators on the market. I almost don't like calling them indicators. These are algorithms. as mentioned before, we sat down with 3 quantitative analysts, sat down with a chaotician who studies chaos theory to put this together for you. There is a ridiculous amount of computation happening on the back end of this. This is real-time data. This is not a time lagging indicator. You get access to our market watch. Remember, we're not financial advisors. We can't give you that financial advice, but we've put together information from analysts. We've interviewed industry professionals that are able to guide you and tell you what they think. You get access to that market watch. You get access to, you also get $15 off your trading view. So you can just hit our link at the bottom. Whether or not you sign up to Fractal Effects, you can still take advantage of that trading view discount. Just scroll to the bottom where it says our offer, and you can actually click that link. But you get access to the master classes that go over everything. This is the easiest system to learn and the fastest. You can literally watch this over a weekend, practice for 30 days in a demo account, and then you're good to go on your own. And then obviously we have the live trading sessions where we guide you, hold your hand, make sure you guys understand this. But in a world that's filled with a lot of convoluted material with low success rate, I can tell you right now that this is going to be the fastest and easiest system for you to learn. But yeah, check us out, fractaleffects.com. Please hit the subscribe button, turn on your notifications. Check us out on Instagram and TikTok, fractal.effects. It's with an E and ends with an S. But that's our time. We'll see you guys next week. Have a great weekend.